What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the best women's boxing show, period. I'm Cynthia Conte, and I've got my lovely co-host.
We're back. I'm Jeandra LeBeauf, and I am so happy to be back to talk some boxing. And this is our first official episode of Just Us.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Woo! Happy 2024. But before we start getting into this, what is on your 2024 wish list for boxing?
It's a big wish list, actually. Honestly, I would just like the best fighting the best. I don't want people marinating fights. I understand why they marinate fights, but when you guys marinate fights, look at what happens. You guys are out of your prime, or something happens. The tides turn. The apple cart gets thrown around. I mean, it gets upset, and that's what we love. But I would just really love to see the best fighting the best and stop ducking. That's all. That's pretty much
I
it.
love it. Quack, quack.
What about you?
I want male boxing fans to stop being so toxic and realize that we are here. We are contributors to the space, not just ourselves, but the other women who are working in the space. You can love the sport. You can love the matchups. You can disagree, but you don't have to be toxic. So that is my wish for boxing for 2024. And I think we can get there. We'll try to get there. We'll try.
You know, it's baby steps, but yes, I agree with you. I like that because, you know, all the women in our space, and we're not just talking about journalists or people who do shows. It's just everyone that behind the scenes that are fighting. It's, you know, there's room for everyone in that whole space. Mm-hmm. All right. So this is our run it back. We don't have anyone interviewing because I got a lot of good interviews this past week, obviously. Fantastic. With Virgil Ortiz. So go check them out, check our socials because they are on fire. I still so much to drop, but Jeandra and I, we have to talk about some stuff.
Yes.
The big announcement. Well, there was several, but one of them was the heavyweight title fight that Joshua was supposed to fight Wilder if Wilder won. But unfortunately, that now has been taken by Francis Ngannou, the newly ranked WBC in the top 15. I think he's like 13. I don't remember. But that's all, you know, we've already talked about that. Are you happy about this fight? Because we've heard Eddie talk about when he talked shit to Fury, saying he's fighting a non-boxing. To be fair, Francis is a boxer now, but Joshua wanted title fights. This is not a title fight, but it's a big bag.
It's a huge bag. I don't love it. I can't even lie. I don't love it. I wasn't hyped when I heard it. I understand why they're doing it because it was a whole cluster of things. Wilder lost. Tyson Fury looked like shit. And so now they have to scramble to make something happen. I don't love it. I really wanted to see Joshua versus Wilder. We're not getting that. Or even Joshua versus Parker. We're not getting that. Tyson Fury is, you know, waiting his fight with Alexander Usyk. I don't love it. I understand it, but I don't love it.
I know. It's I think I can't remember. I think it's Hrgovic that's going to be the possible fight after Joshua, but he has to get through Ngannou. And, you know, I don't love it either because I would really like Joshua to be in title fights. Mm-hmm. But hey, if someone's throwing you 50 million plus, I'll do it.
Here's food for thought. And, you know, we won't go down this rabbit hole too long. Maybe you guys want to, you know, argue about it in the comments. It's interesting to me, Ngannou, who is now a boxer, and he comes from an MMA background. I understand that. But he doesn't seem to get the same negativity as a Jake Paul. Now, I know Jake Paul was not an MMA fighter, but the point is he was not a boxer. He was sort of like an interloper who came in, just like Ngannou. Ngannou wanted to fight, and I get it, crossover and all these big things. But I mean, it's interesting. Go ahead, tear me up in the comments. Just don't make it toxic. But I just think it's interesting that Ngannou doesn't get the same grief jumping right into these huge title fights as Jake Paul. And Jake Paul didn't even fight for a title. He really kind of went the amateur route, fighting guys, you know, past prime guys, like most amateurs do when they're on not amateurs, people who are early in their professional career, fight guys who are kind of washed, past prime. And he got tore up, and I'm not beating the drum for Jake Paul, but it's just interesting to see how fandom
Well,
reaction of
I mean, I can see, but I can see your side, and I can see how other people will say, well, Francis Ngannou he wasn't just some UFC or MMA guy. I mean, he
right?
was a legit champion. He lived and breathed his his line of work at the time. Like he was always in the gym training, and Jake Paul was a YouTuber and doing his craft where he made his own money. And I think where when Ngannou came into the sport, he already had some skills of boxing. I can't say how good of a boxer he was, but he did have some hands. He did have a devastating power. Jake Paul had to do it in a different route where it almost was like a circus at the beginning, where it really was. I mean, we had fans. I'll never forget. We had fans at the Staple. It was a Staples Center when Jake Paul had their first fight, and Logan Paul, and that was the Eddie Hearn fight. There were kids in there, like 8-year-olds. They didn't even know any boxing. They're like, I just want to see Jake Paul. So it was really different. So their fan base is very different. You have the YouTubers, the people that knew them in the YouTube space versus Ngannou, who had combat sports fans, and then people who just want to see some guy that's not in boxing at the time to knock out a legit boxer. And sure enough, that fight against Fury rocked the world. It melted Twitter like it was nobody's business. But we were just as shocked. No,
Absolutely.
that was not supposed to happen. And so for him to fight Joshua, imagine, oh Lord, imagine Francis Ngannou
Let,
knocking Joshua out.
I would,
Whoa.
my God, that would be, I feel like that would be a wrap. But let us know your thoughts because they're both ranked. Jake Paul is ranked. Francis and Ngannou are both ranked by the WBC. So, let us know your thoughts about
Yeah.
their path to being ranked. Maybe that's more my gripe about the ranking of it, you know? And Francis Ngannou just jumped up right away, boom, ranked by WBC after one fight with Tyson Fury. So I feel like, well, damn, I could be ranked at this point too.
Well, yeah, I guess I guess it's just I don't know. Mauricio Suleiman was there, obviously, because it was for a special belt, one of those commemorative
As
belts.
I wear my green today.
There you go. But it's that's a whole other topic about ranking that we have to go into. But real fast, so that fight's March 8th, and that's on live on DAZN. And I think Sky Sports, and I don't know which others, but luckily they're making that fight cheaper for all of us
Praise
all around
God.
the world. Thank you, Turkey, Al Sheikh. We love you, Riyadh season. You
Thank
guys
you.
like to make it much cheaper than a lot of the other pay-per-views that we all have to buy. And also, possibly on that card, real fast, could be Deontay Wilder. That's very interesting.
Very.
The word is it could be Big Bang Jang. I don't know. I would like to maybe Parker. I don't know. There's now a bunch of guys ready, but is Wilder ready?
Yeah, what version of him? Because he just looked like he really phoned it in for the first fight. So is he going to look back at that opportunity and think, wow, I really kind of embarrassed myself a little bit? I mean, I went and collected the big bag, but what do I want my legacy to be that for the last couple fights, I just phoned it in and took the bag and went home? I felt like he always had so much more of a deeper connection to legacy and establishing himself in the history of the sport. I just don't want to see him go out sad. Let's take a little break from the ayahuasca or whatever it's called, little funny mushrooms. Take a break and like have a very competitive matchup if he lands on that card.
Wilder, lay off the ayahuasca for just a little bit because that makes you hum, and you can't be hum in the gym. You need to be like, yeah.
So let's get it together.
That will be interesting. Now on to another subject. Another heavyweight. Allegedly, he was a former boxer when we saw it in the headlines. Big Baby Miller.
I had to snort. That's hilarious.
He got arrested in Hollywood, Florida for chokeholding, throwing down the salesperson to steal his repoed truck. Mind, he fought a week before this all happened. My question is, why didn't you just pay off the repo truck, or why didn't you just buy a new truck?
Right.
Unless there's sentimental value, but you didn't have to go through all of that. So that is what the story is. But yesterday there was Alvina, his publicist, posted that he will be vindicated. So I'm curious of how he will be vindicated in this whole mess. But right now, he's facing jail time. It's assault. Your hands are a weapon. You're a boxer. I can't wrap my head around this.
Assault, Grand Theft Auto. Is he gonna be vindicated, or is he gonna be Jonathan Majors vindicated?
Oh,
You know, like
yeah.
what kind of vindication are we talking about? Because let us learn from Mr. Majors, my ex-boyfriend, that legal team and PR people matter. So I hope he has, because it's looking pretty funny in the daylight. How do you whip somebody's ass to steal your own car back when you literally just made like a gajillion dollars? Because I'm sure that our good friends over there in Saudi paid some good money for him to fight over there, and we're repossessing a truck. So unless your truck is like some type of magical DeLorean, I'm sure he made enough after he paid his people to get the truck back. Bro, run him a check.
And then the girl, his accomplice, what were you thinking? I mean, this is all allegedly because based of what we read. So we're not even sure the full truth. I'd like to see the cameras on this, but I just, I
feel like somebody is gonna jump up in our comments and be like, "You don't know what you're talking about." So tell us.
Yeah. We read and watched. Well, we read everything that came out. I personally thought it was a joke. And the last thing I read on Big Baby Miller was that he wants to be at like 300 pounds because he was too freaking heavy for his last minute fight with Dubois. But I get it. And then all of a sudden it says former boxer. I'm like, wow, I don't even know what the funniest part is. Them saying he's a former boxer, or that he stole a car, or he assaulted and did all of this. I'm like, this is just very odd. I mean, and
it's a big papa.
So much has happened. This is the beginning of the year. My goodness.
Okay, we're on day 10 and people are already acted up. I just want to know, what's your like calorie consumption in the course of the day when you because I mean, truth be told, watching him in his last fight, it wasn't his best performance, but it wasn't bad. Like, I feel like he could have beat a good number of people who were still out there. Yes, he is too heavy and that affects his win, but he still moves. He's quick, he's strong. If he was a little bit lighter, that would have been a totally different fight. But man,
I think he could have lasted his endurance because he was just heavier. But he did say he took that fight 10 days notice.
Okay.
So that could be the factor, but that they always say, be ready.
If you
never know.
To quote the great philosopher, Sugar Free, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
Yeah.
Wise words.
But it's kind of hard. You can't always be fight ready, but you can't be super bloated, overweight. But yeah, so that's until we find out more of what's happening with Jarrell Miller. We know as much as you guys know. Unless you guys know something, let us know. But as of right now, he has there was, I think, a $30,000 bond.
Oh, that's nothing. Well, I mean, is it? It sounds like it's nothing because I bet the car didn't owe that much. So I mean, it's all relative. If you put some money on his books, let us know. Let us know.
All right. Now, so this past weekend, I was at the very first fight to kick off 2024 in Vegas. Virgil Ortiz Jr. is back. He fought Lawson. I can't even really talk about the Virgil Ortiz fight because I thought it was too damn early of a stoppage. Tony Weeks, Tony Weeks, he's getting all the shit put out, and then he puts out on his own, I guess it's his own Facebook, that the Lawson had some kind of brain aneurysm and wasn't passed. Then he takes down the post because the commission, not California, excuse me, the Nevada commission said no, that everyone's passed. So who is lying? Tony, if it's all right if you called the fight and you just thought he was getting beat up, it's fine. It was a really bad stoppage, but again, boxing loss. It does nothing for Virgil Ortiz, for ring rust, his new weight class. Girl, I know you saw that. It was like I blinked and the fight was over.
I watched it, I was at another event and I watched it on my phone. I was like, wait, what? Why are they stopping already? Tony Weeks is not. I saw a really, really funny meme, and I think about this, and I think about the Rolly fight, and the meme said, it's like Tony weeks with the two of them, and it says, look, I got somewhere to go. So whoever lands the first punch wins. And I feel like that's where it's at. Tony, if you're just tired of being an officiant, just say that. It's
Yeah.
okay to retire. I'm sure
Kenny
there's other
Bayless just
things you can do.
retired.
He's been around a long time. If you're tired of the bullshit, just
Yeah.
wrap it
That's
up.
all
Why?
right.
Because you're making these fighters suffer from these crap decisions. You got to think about what are you doing to these young fighters' legacy, and that's terrible.
That is bad. So yeah, he's back. Virgil looked great. Had a really great interview. Everyone was talking about how it's back. And, you know, for me, I love to talk about other stuff with him, about his music. He told me about school, what he learned in school, and he loves math. And it was really interesting. He made it to a point to say, I'm not going to be a boxing trainer. I don't want to do that. I want to do other things. And I said, good for you. And that's where it is, because if you don't save your money, boxers, especially boxers, you're going to be doing things that you don't want to do. So save and invest in yourself and your money. And the co-main event. Good Lord. So during the buildup of the fight, O'Hara Davies is a newly signed Golden Boy fighter from the UK. He was making his debut in Vegas. I'm not sure in the US, but I know in Vegas. And he got rocked by, they say, Theo or Grandpa, Ismael Barroso. If you guys don't know, he was the one that put the beating on Rolly, and Barroso, he was so quiet. I wish I spoke to him. He spoke Spanish. I don't think he did any interviews. I'm not sure, but he was just so nice and just kind and just smiled and just walked out. But that dude, man, he can punch. Because O'Hara Davies, I'm not sure exactly, he made a mistake, but I remember turning around and looking at Michelle Phelps, and she was saying something, and then I looked and he's down in like 11 seconds or something like that. And then the 53rd second of the first round, fight is over. Barroso pulls off the upset. Was it an upset? I didn't think so, because Theo Barroso can rock. He's got scary donkey balls power. Like, I'm sorry. Scary.
You know, I was listening to our homies over there at the Boxing Voice, and I've been listening to, you know, they do a lot of stuff on betting and all of that. And I listened to Ness mention that one of their callers had been saying for like a month, like, I'm Barroso's going to win this fight.
Yep.
And people are like, okay, Unk is not winning no fight. And that guy won $61,000, $62,000, something like that. I said, oh my God. Yeah, I need to talk to that guy.
He bet $3,000 on 5 different betting slips. Mm-hmm. And in accumulation, I think it was $61,000 or $63,000. I'm like, good for him.
Shout out to that guy. Yeah, he knew.
And I would have bet, but I totally forgot, because everyone I bet on, I lose. So
I'm going to start betting. I'm going to start betting a little bit more. But wow, great for Barroso. Great job to you for capturing that. If you haven't seen Cynthia's post-fight chat with them, go to the Best Women's Boxing Show period YouTube channel. Great job. We're listening to or watch the shorts, like I think, or TikTok. Watch all the things.
They're on all of it.
All the things. But I say all that to say, what a fantastic moment for him. No one was expecting that. And now by him doing that again, like your New Year's wish, the apple cart is all the way upset. And that's pretty amazing.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And just, you know, the sheer victory, the sheer happiness on Barroso's face, and saying Viva Venezuela, that's where he's from. And just to, you know, when I interviewed him during his post-fight, he just said he needed this victory after the loss that he had against Rolly, especially at his age. He's 40 years old. So it's, you know, sometimes you can't come back from a loss at that age, because you don't have time anymore. And for him to even get this chance, now he's back in the mix of, he wants a Rolly rematch for the belt, because Rolly has the belt. He's the interim champion now. But then you also have Ryan Garcia, who's trying to fight Rolly, who was supposed to fight Devin Haney. But that's another topic we'll be talking about right after this, because that's a whole mess. You know, there's Tank Davis. There's so many fighters. And then Subriel Matias, who fought recently, was saying, I am the real champion. And he goes down the list, blah, blah, blah. who's Ryan, nah. And then this, like all the different names. So this division, this 140-pound division is so exciting. Golden Boy, I think you should do a full-on tournament because round robin of 140-pounders ready to bang. We wouldn't even know who's going to win at this point. I imagine if he did that and freaking Barroso cleans out the division.
That would be the wildest thing ever on some Bernard Hopkins type of stuff. Like the older man cleaning out the young buck.
Yes.
And these are all very makeable fights because these are Golden Boy fighter. These are all fights that I feel like don't have to get held up by politics.
And Oscar De La Hoya, since now Showtime is no longer, he has really put it out there to all the promoters and challenged them to work together. It's for the fighters and stop being so stingy and the politics of it all, because these fights need to be made. These fighters are not fighting. They're not fighting 4 or 5 times a year. They're fighting 1, 2 times a year. And look at what happens. They lose, or ring rust is real. Inactivity is real. So
the last time I was this excited about the 140-pound division was when Danny Garcia put it on Lucas Matisse, and he put it on Amir Khan, and Matisse was the boogeyman, and Danny Garcia put it on them. That was the last time I was super excited about the 140. No disrespect to the light welterweights, but it's exciting time. 135 was cooking last year. Now 140 is cooking because everybody is growing into their man weight. All these younger men are growing up and packing it on. So it's some good time. There's so many good options. There's tons of good options. So let's back to Cynthia's original plan for the year. Let's make the best fights possible.
Absolutely. So then after that, Rolly's just Rolly. He had really good, he told a bunch of us that he goes, I said an hour ago he's going to do that because I know Ismail's power. And Stephen from our boy KO Artist, he asked a really good question. He goes, what does that say about your chin for you, Rolly, to be able to take Ismail's power? And he's like, he hits hard, but he won. So
Rolly thinks
very different. Yeah. But
Rolly, I hope you sent Tony Weeks a Christmas card this year, my boy. I hope you sent him a little Starbucks card, a little, the weather outside is frightful. Send him a little something because he helped you out.
Maybe that painting I saw Rolly was at some kind of drinking paint party. It was really pretty. I don't know what it looked like, the full thing, but it looked like black and white mountains but it was pretty. Maybe send Tony a nice painting. All right. So the beginning of the year, we're talking about Rolly, Ryan Garcia. Surprises. Happy New Year, Tess. Ryan Garcia was supposed to be fighting Devin Haney. That was a fight being preached about and talked to. Everyone was asking Oscar about that. But the one fight I asked about was Rolly versus Ryan Garcia. What happened to that fight? Was that fight ever tried to be made? Thank goodness I asked that, because Ryan now switched the apple cart after his late night jog with Floyd Mayweather. And all of a sudden he wants to now fight Rolly. It's still a big money fight. It's I want to say it's safer, but I can't. I mean, Rolly still can bang, but the best part about it, the buildup, because of the way they both are going to talk so much shit, and everything about the whole entire fight week and after fight week will just be glorious.
Can we just give a shout out to Floyd with his A+ level trolling? Because ultimately this always comes back to about him and Oscar. I swear they are Cain and Abel. If it's not Floyd fighting and Oscar talking about Floyd, it's now Floyd talking to his fighter. I'm really surprised Oscar didn't come on and say, stop talking to my fighters or something like that. But one jog, if I could have been some earphones on that run with them, what could Floyd have possibly said to Ryan to completely change gears? Because Rolly is still Floyd's fighter, right?
That's what I thought. So that would be interesting. But at the end of the day, if Floyd is a real promoter, That's money on both sides.
Here comes
They're
the
both,
money.
everyone is going to make money. Funny enough, when you said that about Golden Oscar, so I don't know if you got to see my full Oscar because there were so many clips, but in my Oscar interview, that has dropped. It's on our podcast, so you can listen to it on Spotify, everything that you want to hear, or on YouTube, or just listen to it. I did ask him about the run. I go, why weren't you out there with him? He's like, my legs don't work. But he said, I go, are you afraid that maybe Ryan or Floyd might poach Ryan and take him? He's like, no, but he's like, it's boxing. So
Interesting.
I don't know how many fights Ryan has left under Golden Boy. And we see the telenovela that always happens with them and being promoted and being their fighter and whatnot. But at the end of the day, they're all making money. So it will be interesting. But he did give Ryan his credit and said all fighters should be able to not run, but like if you're able to be a sponge and learn from the best, do it. So he loved that Ryan's getting advice or whatever it is. And you know what? If that's the fight, apparently Ryan didn't notify the team, which Oscar said it could be Lupe and his team to tell him about Rolly, but Oscar sure didn't know it was him. He was instructed specifically for Haney. So Haney, Ryan, at the end, I guess something happened with Haney and Bernard Hopkins, which is a whole other topic. I don't know about it because I didn't see it because I was interviewing Rolly. But Oscar said, I'm meeting with Bill Haney after this to see how we can try to salvage the fight.
What's very fascinating about this, the Haneys are on top right now. They're doing really well. Devin Haney's looking great. They got a strong unit over there.
Oh, wait, congratulations, Devin Haney being signed by WME, big agency.
Wow.
Very
yeah. Good for him.
William Morris Endeavor.
Wow, that's a really big signing because their reach is tremendous. And wow, good for him. But here is the thing that maybe this is by Floyd being not directly in the mix, had the foresight to see this. So now you have Ryan, who doesn't have a belt. So that puts him in a vulnerable negotiating position when it comes to Devin Haney. So they'll say, well, you don't have nothing to offer. Yeah, you got a big following. You don't have no belt. What's in this for us? So maybe Ryan increases his ability to bargain or his bargaining chips. He fights Rolly, gets Rolly's belt if he wins. And then now it changes, it puts a different perspective on percentages. And those percentages matter when you're talking about money like that. Because when Ryan and Tank fought, they made big bank. I don't know if it's the same level of big bank Ryan Devin Haney fought. Devin is growing. Well, now he's got this new signing. So that just makes it all the more greater and all the more interesting and all the more money. Ooh-wee. Ooh.
I mean, based off social media, and I can't say if it's true because it was on social media, that there were some issues of Devin being the B side and Ryan was the A side because because Ryan even tweeted out 30,000 pay-per-view buys, something like bitch, I think, I don't remember, but he was just saying Haney doesn't sell. And Ryan is obviously the one that brings in the crowd, but Haney is the one with the belts. So Teofimo made a very good point during our scrum that was this the right move for Ryan? And Teofimo just said it, what you're talking about. It is really good. It's a really good business move because if he's able to get Rolly's belt, then the negotiations at the table change because now I'm offering a piece of hardware that you want besides giving me a loss on my record and beating Ryan Garcia and whatnot and bragging rights. So that was that's a really good topic. But you see, I love how these little 140 pounders are just talking all their smack, but you guys have to fight.
You do have to fight each other. And where is Tank in all this? Because there's no talk of Tank moving up to 140.
Abdul Wahid.
Excuse me. There's no talk of Abdul Wahid. Is he still going to be Tank like a nickname? There's no talk of
Wahid. Devin Haney didn't change his name. I don't know what his name is, but I just see people like Steve Kim in the snack things. He'll put Gervonta Tank Davis parentheses or Abdul Wahid parentheses Gervonta Tank Davis. So we'll just say the full name because if people be like, who's Abdul, a nude boxer?
Yeah, we are not. We're not trying to disrespect anybody. So yeah, I totally agree. Gervonta Tank Davis, Abdul Wahid. There's no talk of him moving up to 140. Maybe he moves up to 140 for the right fight. Is the right fight Devin Haney? Maybe it's percolating and it's marinating. What's for him at 135 right now?
Shakur.
Ah, yes.
Shakur.
Yes.
I mean, I would love to see Tank versus Shakur. A lot of people would. I mean, but boxing never gets nice things.
We never get nice things. Never. It's not
Yeah.
fair.
Okay, so this is so on the heels of Teofimo Lopez, he's going to be fighting here in Vegas in February. Hameen Ortiz. They fought like 10 years ago, and I mean they were young, and so now they're going to be fighting right before the Super Bowl here at Mandalay Bay on Thursday night fights. So I just saw from Boxing Social, Teofimo Lopez on coming out of retirement. I wasn't gonna retire. It was a publicity stunt. You got to know how to work the media. Just like when I said, do I still got it after the Sandor Martin fight? And then I use it after beating Josh Taylor. I believe half of that.
I believe half of it too.
Because the whole world, when you say, do I still got it, was not planned. That was emotional. And it's all right to be emotional in that moment when it's all right. The vulnerability, you're a goddamn boxer. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Gosh darn boxer. But for you to say that, yes, you could say all the other stuff about coming out of retirement. Fine. We've seen so many people come out of retirement. Fury's retired, I don't know how many times.
A gajillion.
And you become a joke when you keep doing that. But don't say that if I still got it, it was just a joke. No, it's all right.
It's okay.
It's all right. We still appreciate you as a fighter. We still love to watch you as a fight. We still love to see you fight and, collect belts and do upsets. But yeah, so I wanted to hear your thought because I just read that on social media. I'm like, oh, interesting.
Yeah, no, I only believe half of that because during that time, if I remember correctly, he had a lot of personal issues going on outside of the ring.
Yeah.
I won't detail if you want to go down the rabbit hole. He had a lot going on outside of the ring. So he had a lot of distractions and a lot of things going on. So you mean to tell me fresh off the fight, your first natural your emotional response, like you mentioned, is do I still got it? I thought it was real and he didn't want that caught on camera on Mike was hot. And they caught it, and it is what it is. And he's got a lot of ego, as we know, and his ego couldn't take all that. It's okay, guys, to be vulnerable. Everybody's vulnerability expresses itself in different ways, and that happened to be his. So Teofimo, I'm looking forward to your fight. Cynthia and I will be together. We will be there holding it down. But Teofimo, another 140. There is so much good happening in and around the 140 division. Mm-hmm. What fight do you like better? Let's say you've got Devin, you've got Teo, you've got Ryan, you got Rolly. What would you rather? Would you rather Devin Teo, Ryan Devin, or Ryan Teo? Which stylistically fight? Not even that it makes sense, but which one would you most like to watch? If all things, money and all that was equal, not considering any politics.
Ryan's he will bring eyes and he just makes everything so much better. But stylistically, I mean, he's getting better. Theo, like Devin is just, we know how he is. He's a boxer. I'm like looking at this. Rolly is Rolly.
Rolly is Rolly.
Personally, I would like to see Ryan and Rolly. I would like to see them rumble it out. And because Devin, I don't want to say he stinks up the place because he's a really good boxer. So if you guys find boxing boring, it's because they're just technically sound. Teofimo, he's a wild one. But I would want to, if I were to see Theo, it would be against Rolly because them two are just wild. So that would be fun to watch, to see each other try to knock each other out. But Ryan, it's he relies a lot on his right hand. And so we'll see. But I at the end of the day, I want Ryan and Rolly. And then I would really like Subriel Matias because he's very dangerous. There's no money. I say that respectfully because he doesn't really have a huge following in the sense here. He's from Puerto Rico, but if he built his name up and got a huge following, because he's one of those guys that could really, really screw it up for everyone. But hey, that's what it is. All right. So until then, hopefully we'll get an announcement. I keep saying, Rolly, when are you going to announce the fight? I just keep asking him, but we'll see. He's like, we'll see. We'll see. He knows.
Sure.
Oh, no, actually, before we get to our final one, Mayweather versus Pacquiao exhibition.
Pacquiao said that so like softly and sweetly.
He didn't
That I
even.
was like, wait, what did he say?
Yeah, yeah. He's like, I have an exhibition. I can say that because I speak Tagalog, so I have an exhibition, and I will be fighting here in Japan. And then he looked to see, and he's like, the guy's like, oh, I don't know if I can say. He's like, Floyd Mayweather. So first of all, Floyd Mayweather Jr. is supposed to be fighting. I don't even know if it's still going. The rematch exhibition against that Gotti kid, that huge. It was an actual fight after the fact.
Right.
So it's supposed to be here during the Super Bowl. I don't know if that's happening. Then he's going to be going to Japan. But do we really want to see Floyd and Pacquiao
that's just for our friends over there in Southeast Asia. Like, I know you guys will be hype about it, and I'm gonna watch it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna watch it.
If you guys hire me, I'll still do it. I love you, Pacquiao, mabuhay.
Mabuhay.
And I love you, Floyd, too. Yes, but come on, you guys.
Man, I was practicing my Tagalog the other night. I forgot what I'm supposed to say.
Really?
Yeah, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, I was practicing my Tagalog. I mean, if they do it, I'm gonna watch it. If y'all want to fly us out, we'll cover it. We're happy to come out there and talk about it and wake it up. But do I necessarily need to see it? No, not really.
No.
But we know if he fights Manny, it won't be all that hairy-carry like when he fought the Gatti kid.
Yeah.
That was a mess.
Yep. But the great thing about that, the fight will be early. So it'll be like, oh no, it won't be early. It will be early in the night or morning.
Mahal kita. That's what I
Mahal kita. I love you. My son says that to me every night. Oh. When I put him to bed. He's like, Mahal kita. Okay, and then the last topic. I know. Sorry, guys. There's a lot of topics, and
they love it.
January, I know, because you guys are saying the same thing. Errol Spence had some cataract, his eye surgery yesterday, and then he's been tweeting. He's been very active on social media, and Terrence Crawford is on holiday. So I don't think that fight's gonna happen anytime soon. But good for Errol because as you guys know, his eye was pretty busted, and so you need your eyes. I would put a fight off to keep my eyeballs. So I don't know. What are your thoughts? And
he was doing a lot of posting and deleting from what I could see. I had to.
Are you screenshotting him?
No, I got on the train late so I just saw the two that were left up where he said he was long overdue for an ass whooping and he hadn't been living a fighter life. Well, we know that. Spence likes to kick it. So we knew that already. And then apparently he was saying that in one of the post and deletes, and we could find them, and I'm sure you guys can find them for us. He was saying something to the effect of, that's why I kept getting hit with the hooks because my eye was jacked up and I couldn't see. And a lot of excuses, no excuses, no excuses. But I am happy for him. I still enjoy Errol Spence. He says he's not retiring, despite what people are saying. And he wants to come back at 154. But who is he coming back at 154? Is he going to maybe take some step aside money? That seems unlikely for someone of Spence's caliber. Boots Ennis still needs a fight. He was Spence's mandatory. So does that now make him Crawford's mandatory? There's a lot of variables that are being held up around this Spence Crawford situation. Mm-hmm. And when is PBC going to announce the T?
When's their first fight?
What's going on with that?
Uncle Al, where are you guys?
Let us know. I tried to get us a little bit of tea this morning. I texted a couple people like, hey, we're filming today. Anything you want to tell me that we could talk about? Let's just say my text messages are still cricket.
On red.
Left me on risen. So I have nothing, unfortunately.
Well, hopefully. Oh, one topic I forgot to talk about. We briefly talked about because it's blowing up Twitter. O'Hara Davies complained about the oxygen in the casinos in Las Vegas. So that's why allegedly that is the reason why he didn't perform well, because he was in his room. I guess he stayed at Virgin or I don't know, wherever the fighters stay. But he said that, did you know that they pump oxygen? And you know what people said? It's not true. It's true, because I do not stay up till 7, 8 in the morning gambling
Right.
all hours of the night when I'm drinking. All right. So there's something in the air. But yeah, he said that him and his fighters were up looking at Instagram. First of all, get off your phone, put an eye mask on like I do, and just go to bed. Just do breathing techniques, meditate. Don't blame it on the oxygen. Yeah, next time get an Airbnb, but don't blame it. That's how you performed. Stop with the excuses.
Man, what is it? That is up there with the Mount Rushmore of worst boxing excuses that we've heard for losing a fight. I want everybody to give us, we've heard, no disrespect, but we're just reporters.
Yeah.
Costumes too heavy, no oxygen in the casino. Homeboy who walked out of the ring that fight Jabba.
Oh yeah, because something about he didn't get paid, which I would do the same. If I wasn't getting paid, I'd walk in, walk out. I'd be like, look at my fight fit, peace out. But
give us your Mount Rushmore, the listeners, of worst boxing excuses for a loss, because we want to hear, but there's always the epic Mike Tyson, my back was broke, spinal. That's always a good one too. So let us know what your Mount Rushmore of is. But that that's pretty lame. There was no oxygen, or there was too much. What did he say? There's too much oxygen, or not?
Yeah, he had too much oxygen pumping, and so that's why it kept him up. And and then it was loud. And I mean, I don't hear the casino when I'm in my room.
I don't either. This was the night before the actual fight.
Yeah, the guy, he said, my friend was like, you should be asleep. Why are you up? He's like, why are you up? Hey, that's what he said in his video. So why would you even go and post a video? He posted first. He said, the better man won. I made a mistake. Leave it at that. We respect you because you're a fighter. You got in the ring. Now you just lost all your credibility and respectability when you said that kind of crap.
Just sounded like a cornball, complete cornball. I'll tell you to your face, that's some cornball shit.
I get it. It's ego. It's ego. Like when Wilder lost, it's like all these excuses. It's just take it. You guys lost. That's all. We understand. Lost. And get it, find whatever you need back, but don't come up with these crazy excuses. Like that is the worst. That really takes the cake. I'm like, and the Oscar goes too.
O'Hara Davies for too much oxygen. Whee!
We should really do that for this year. I know a lot of people did boxing awards. We should do one, but something a little off.
That's a great topic.
Yeah, don't do that. That's sad.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have ran up our time. We were doing probably 35, 45, but all these topics were really good hot button topics because they're still going to be talking about it. I promise you, everything is still going. And lastly, Canelo is
out there getting his ski on. Canelo, where are you?
Viva Cabrones!
Still want our repost. You promised us.
I know, and you haven't hit our collab button. We see you. We see you.
we gonna repost it again and be like, look, Viva Mexico, cabrones. Hit that collab button.
I need to know who he's fighting.
Let's go. Like PBC, let us know what's going on. We need to know what's going on with Crawford Spence. We need to know what's going on with Canelo. Like, give us something.
Will Maul be in the mix?
What's up with Jermall Charlo? What's up with
Jermell Charlo too?
Jermell Charlo. Who else they got over there? It's fun. I saw something that said Fundora should move up and maybe get in the mix with this 154 action. What's up with Keith Thurman?
Thurman was supposed to say something. Sebastian is Fundora. Virgil Ortiz would like to fight him.
Oh, there we go. Look, make it happen. You guys have been working together and playing nice in the sandbox. Yeah. Give us something. We want to see some fights and let us know, more importantly, what's going on with this Amazon deal. Why is it worth my while? Well, it's always going to be worth my while to continue paying for Prime, but let us know what's going on, because inquiring minds want to know.
You see, I tried to cancel my Showtime, and because I have Showtime and Paramount together, because it was cheaper. And when I tried to cancel, it says, oh no, you're leaving. We'll give you 2 months free. I'm like, okay. So I put in my calendar, like, must cancel showtime. So I do not get charged. All right. Well, Jeandra, this was a great run it back, especially for the beginning of 2024. Best Women's Boxing Show, period, is back. All of our interviews, and you guys check out our podcast. If you guys cannot physically watch us, listen to us in your car. You put your earbuds on. We're going to give you some eargasms, and you get to hear all the juicy stuff that we always get to talk about. But another one in the can for us, Jeandra. Thanks for joining me. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm Cynthia Conte.
And I'm Jeandra LeBeauf.
Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Best Women's Boxing Show, period. See you guys at the fights. Bye, guys.